Oh, it's finally here, the final WBR Garage bike first ride, and it's our CBR 600. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, and in front of us we have our Season 5 WBR Garage giveaway bike, the CBR 600. This is a 2008 CBR 600RR. I love this body style. When I was a kid and I wanted to ride a motorcycle, my dream bike, the bike that I had on my wall, was a CBR 600RR Repsol edition. I will never forget the look of that motorcycle, so I have a special place in my heart for this model CBR. I love the undertail exhaust. I love everything about it, but you guys are not here to listen to me talk about how much I love CBR 600. You are here to hear me see what I think about this thing on the road for the first time. So let's see what it looks like, and let's see what it sounds like, and let's get this first ride going. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like, and I will remind you guys, we are giving this bike away. If you want to win it, it's over at WBRGarage.com. That's our membership site. That's where we take motorcycles, we build them into the dream bikes they can be, then we give them away to our members. There's also tons of other stuff you get over there. You get early videos, you get Discord, you get tons of stuff over there at WBRGarage.com. Go check it out if you want to win the bike. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy a first ride.
It's the most festive time of the year, and HelloFresh is here to help you make the most out of every moment. From holiday hosting to dinners during busy weeknights, you can count on HelloFresh to deliver fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes. My family and I have had the pleasure of enjoying HelloFresh's Thai coconut curry chicken over our Thanksgiving break. All the ingredients were pre-proportioned and ready to go when the recipe called for them. Also, the recipe came printed out for you to keep later. How nifty is that? After all the traditional holiday staples, it was nice to shake things up and just try a new dish amidst all the leftovers to keep things fresh. Speaking of fresh, quality is HelloFresh's priority. Ingredients travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. That works out for me because this year, more than ever, I've been making a conscious effort to try and eat healthier, which consequently means eating less things meant to sit on the shelf for months on end. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that around the holidays, but it seems to be nearly impossible. The creamer you put in your coffee, the fast food you pick up on the road, even the bowl of candy at Mimi's house is not safe. HelloFresh can help you eat better amid all the holiday temptations. Your meals are 20% fewer calories than takeout, so you can still have that full flavor just without the guilt. So if you need a break from the monotony of leftovers, want to eat healthier, or just not deal with the guilt from indulging in the unhealthy, go to HelloFresh.com and use code ChaseOnTwoWheels18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. That's 18 meals plus free shipping when you go to HelloFresh.com and use the code ChaseOnTwoWheels18. And back to the first ride.
This is actually really good.
Alrighty guys, I always tell you I am 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I have bent legs on our CBR here. It's perfect for shorter riders. Listen to that Yoshi. Sounding great. Alright guys, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get this first ride going. And guys, we do have a Discord server if you guys are one of those Discord style people. and you're into motorcycles, which you're watching this video, you are probably into motorcycles, you should totally go check out that Discord. We got a ton of motorcycle enthusiasts just like yourself to hang out with, and we get to go. Hell yeah. Oh, I haven't got to send it to Redline yet. That was great. Oh, there is special magic to a 600cc motorcycle. All of them, man. Every one of the 600cc Super Sports. Getting to rev a bike up to 15 grand, nobody is going to be upset about that. So guys, before we get into this first ride, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the build of this motorcycle. If you guys didn't know, we got this motorcycle 2.5 years ago, and we have rebuilt it from the ground up. Obviously, you guys can see the powder coat on it. This bike has been totally stripped down. If you guys want to see any of the videos of getting the bike to this point, there's going to be a link in the description to the playlist. You guys can go watch this thing turn from wrecked to this. We cataloged every single thing that happened, but this is the first ride. I want to talk about the riding of this motorcycle and how it rides here on the street. Let's start off with the body position, guys. We built this motorcycle to be a track day hero. We want the person that gets this bike eventually to be able to get on it, take the mirror off, tape up the lights, and have a phenomenal track day. Because of that, the body position is very aggressive. We've got aftermarket rear sets. We've got my legs positioned up a little high. The seat's a little hard, but we did that so that you can maneuver yourself easily on it. We want you to easily be able to like lean off the bike and whatnot. And then your upper half is going to be leaned over quite a bit. It's not the most dramatic lean over. You know, that's something like a R6 or something like that. That's a very dramatic lean forward. You are going to be in aggressive body position though. You know, legs are tucked up pretty high, and it's a great position if you're pushing it on a track day, which is, like I said, the point of this motorcycle. So let's talk about modes real quick, guys. This is a 2008 CBR. It has no modes. There are no power modes. The only mode is your throttle hand. So you get everything with this bike. Now, one of the cool things about the 600 class that I've always found super unique is, and this varies make to make, but most of the 600 bikes are very, I like to call them Jekyll and Hyde. The power of these motorcycles really doesn't hit you until you get higher up in the rev range. So as long as you keep the revs relatively low on these bikes, they're pretty calm. These bikes get very fast and very crazy once you get the revs up at like 7,000 to 9,000. The power just opens up. But if you keep the revs low, the power's actually really manageable with these things, which I've always found super interesting. It almost makes a 600cc Super Sport dailyable. You know what I mean? Because the power is not absolutely insane unless you want it to be, and you just rev the thing to hell and back. I will say, one of the cons for a Super Sport like our CBR 600 here is the maneuverability while going slow on city streets. So kind of like the driving that we're doing right now. A lot of traffic, a lot of red light to red light. Because of that body position and the handlebars, it's very hard to make quick moves with this motorcycle. Everything kind of has to be methodical. You're not going to have that control that you would get out of something like with a handlebar setup, you know, something like an MT-07 or something like that. That upright seating position in the handlebar makes it far more agile at slow speeds. Being in this race position when you're on a track is phenomenal. You're so stable in a turn, so you're going to have to sacrifice that kind of quick maneuverability that you would have in city streets, but it's going to pay dividends when you're in the environment that this bike is actually made for. So in the city, these things suck. Every 600, every Super Sport 1000, I'm being totally dead honest with you guys, they are not great. They're not fun. They don't maneuver as well as the nakeds, and the power is not as readily available as a naked. But like I said, that's not what these things are made for. You put this thing in its natural environment and things get a little crazy. So yeah, guys, as you can see, power-wise, I keep these revs around 5,000. I just got one hand on the throttle. I just got a finger around the throttle, just chilling. And it's honestly comfortable. I don't have any problems doing this. As far as power-wise, it's not unmanageable. And I think that's why I've always been drawn to the 600 class over the 1000s, is they have a lot of power when you need them, and when you just have to work for it. And not even work for it, really. These things, you just let it, just don't shift for a minute, and you'll get there. It's always been an interesting motorcycle class for me, though. I like these a lot. One of the kind of crazy things about this bike, and we got it for the track dayableness, is check out the levers. So these halo levers, they are adjustable and they bend up. That way, if you do get in a low side, the lever will just bend up and not break off. A lot of levers are actually they're designed to the tip will break off before the actual lever, and that way if you get in a wreck, you can actually ride the bike out. Especially a lot of adventure bikes are like that, because you know those bikes go over all the time. But we figured, let's get some levers that, just in case things go south on a track day, the levers are going to be totally fine. And I think these levers that can bend up are kind of hilarious. You can bend them all the way up, and then your fingers have all this flexibility, which is, it's kind of hilarious. You should never ride like that, but you know, I'm a child and I'm gonna play with it when I have it. That Yoshi exhaust, man. I've never really been a big fan of Yoshimura exhaust. I always find myself gravitating towards Acro exhaust. But we tried the Yoshi out on the CBR 600, and I gotta say, man, I am pleasantly surprised. Let's get this thing leaned over. Oh, yes! Oh my goodness, nothing replaces that. Nothing replaces the feeling of revving a 600 out. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, man, we've got brand new, I think Michelin Sport tires on this thing. These tires are so tall. This bike just wants to be thrown over in a turn, and it just complies. It just leans over, and it feels better the more you lean it over. Speaking of that, let's talk about weight real quick. The bike, I don't know what it is about this bike, and you guys can tell me from the camera car footage. Do I look huge on this bike? I'm not talking about chubby. I'm just talking about, like, this bike feels super tiny. And I don't know if it actually is or if it's just the cockpit area, but something about it feels so small and nimble. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. There haven't been many bikes where I've ridden them and I'm like, why does this bike feel so small? It might be just this specific year model Honda CBR 600. I'm not really sure. But you guys can let me know. By the way, if you like that camera car footage, drop us a like on this video, guys. It is a pain in the butt to get, but it looks so cool. So yeah, guys, here in city streets, while this bike might not be made for this type of thing, it handles itself pretty well because of that lightweight. And those new tires just make this thing want to fall over. I feel like I'm on a ridge. I'm riding on a ridge, and the second I lean over, the bike's like, oh yay, finally, it's time to turn. This bike just wants to be leaned over. It literally, like, it's weird when a bike feels better when it's leaned over than it does upright. It's a strange feeling, and if you've ridden a Super Sport, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This CBR 600 most definitely has that. All right, we got a highway section to do, and I have to be good. We got a 40 to 80 pull, and this bike should do a pretty decent job at that. I'm interested to see what gearing a 40 to 80 pull is with this bike. I don't know what gear it'll be. Are we talking about a first gear situation, or what are we talking about? We'll find out today. I mean, it's gonna be so loud, guys. The audio is about to get messed up. All right, we got some runoff. All right, guys, 2008 CBR 600RR from WBRG, 40 to 80. Let's go. Oh, that's 80. I didn't even notice I had passed 80. What gear was that? Info on screen. My goodness. Dude, it happened so fast I couldn't even tell what was going on. Oh man, the shadow was over the speedo area and I was like, oh, whoops. All right, well that was awesome. That was controlled too. I like that. I like that controllable power. All right, guys, so we're here on the highway, which is, I mean, let's be honest, the highway is a stomping ground for the 600 class. As far as wind goes, the wind is great. You get wind, but you're leaning forward, and the wind just holds you up as a rider. So I'm chill. I will say I don't have any cruise control, which, you know, no surprise. But the throttle is pretty well weighted to where I just got one finger on the throttle. Very casual, and I got no problems keeping the throttle open. Let's get all the way into 6th gear and see what we're looking like. Oh God, we are speeding, but that's okay. All right, so going at 80 miles an hour, guys, in 6th gear, as you guys can see, I'm down at 7,000 RPMs. The bike's just chilling. We're not even scratching the surface of what this bike can do here on the highway. You've got plenty of passing power. This bike is going to be a phenomenal level of power for a track, and it's lightweight, so you're going to be able to flick around a track. As far as stability goes here on the highway, I'm not getting blown around at all. I am locked into my line. Wind protection, let's sit back and like tuck in. This windscreen is doing a really good job. As you can see, it's one of those higher up windscreens. That wind is just going straight over my helmet when I tuck all the way in. Tucking in is actually a really comfortable situation to be in. My arms fall in a good spot on my legs. Phenomenal showing on the highway, guys. Depending on how good or bad your back is, I don't know how long you'd be able to last on the highway, but I am comfortable and chilling here. All right, guys, let's get on over and do our highway exit. You get this bike revved up and you find all of the engine braking. Man, riding a bike like this at these revs, it's such a trip. If you guys have never ridden a 600 Super Sport, I highly recommend it. My God. The bike rewards you for leaning it over. It's almost like you get one, like it's like you're a little kid and you did something good at school and you get a gold sticker. That's what the bike does. When you lean it over, the weight gets a little bit leaned over and it just falls into a turn. It's an odd feeling, but man, it feels so cool. And it really promotes you to want to ride like that. And then you start realizing why you see so many 600 Super Sports when you go to a track day. All right, guys, before we keep going, let's jump into the camera car and see what the guys in the camera car think of the bike. Thanks to our buddies over at Cardo.
Not only is this my favorite 600, this is my favorite of the entire Wreck Bike Rebuild Season 5, hands down.
Ooh, I'd have to say this is probably number 3 for me, but it's going up against a pretty stacked bit of competition. I do love the color, dig it, looks cool, sounds nice.
All right, guys, the camera car, thank you so much for your opinions, and even more so, thank you, Cardo, for sponsoring the First Ride Series. If you guys want to get a discount on Cardo, they are the top quality Bluetooth helmet communication that we use. There's a discount code in the description down below. Check it out. It supports the channel. Thank you so much. So, guys, power-wise with the CBR 600, like I've said, these bikes are rev happy. They want those revs to be way up there. This bike wants to be screaming. And if this bike is screaming, you need to know that you got the power on tap and ready to go. It's a very strange way to ride a bike. You have a low power area low in the revs, and then you have a tip-top high power area in the top. So as long as you know that, you can utilize that very well. As far as the suspension, as you guys can see, we do have adjustable suspension. That is a key element for a bike you would want to take to a track day. So far, right now, we've got the suspension kind of like right in the middle. That way it's not like too hard. If whoever's going to win this motorcycle, if this is going to be your track day bike, I would highly recommend stiffening that suspension up. That's going to give you a little bit better performance on the track. Right now, I've got it kind of comfortable. As far as the braking goes, this bike will get you stopped with no freaking problem. And we also have adjustable levers so you can get it as comfortable as you want it. I will say something about the braking. When you're lower in the RPMs, you're not going to experience as much engine braking. If you want to really get the bike slowing itself down using engine braking, you are going to need to rev it up a little more. Otherwise, the brakes are going to be totally solid for you. As you guys have seen, the gearing is very tall so that you can rev the hell out of the motorcycle. It feels very congruous with how the bike kind of feels best being ridden. I love the tall gears on these things. You send it to the moon and the bike's like, yay, yay. It gets more excited the more you rev it. It is such a fun experience to ride. The body position kind of takes me away from bikes like this a lot. I have a bad back. I've got scoliosis. So riding a motorcycle like these for long periods of time, it doesn't really do good for me. The experience of getting to ride one of these and experiencing those revs, I got to tell you, as a motorcyclist, that's got to be in the top 5 things you can do is to ride a 600cc inline 4 to redline. It is a special thing, and I highly recommend it for you guys. I'm trying not to say too much about it, but you guys if you know what I'm talking about, let people in the comments know that it's not just me, because I know there's a lot of you guys with 600s out there that ride the actual piss out of them. Just vouch for me, please, if you don't mind. It's hard to not do it, man. Alright guys, let's talk about the cluster up here. We have a few modifications that have made this bike far better in my opinion. One, we've got mirror block off plates. Like I said, we did that intentionally because we want this to be a track day bike, and taking off your mirrors is the easiest way to do it. We've got the 1 bar in mirror that works great. It's very adjustable, super easy to make exactly like you want. We do have the aftermarket halo levers up here. They are adjustable, which is an absolute must. We've got the driven grips, which if you're not going to do stock grips, these driven grips are some of my favorite. They are like glue. You get such a good grip on the handlebars. As far as the buttons, we have not adjusted the buttons at all. They work totally fine. I'm actually impressed. This bike has 40,000 miles on it. It's a 2008. This bike has seen a lot of time on the road, and these buttons are working phenomenally. They have no problems at all. I can still get a good feel when I'm adjusting them, or when I'm actuating them. As you guys can see here on the dash, we do have a few pops of color that we got powder coated. One of the other things to talk about is we got a Rizoma brake reservoir up here. If you guys have ever looked into parts on motorcycles, the Rizoma brake res, they are the one to get, in my personal opinion. That's why we have it on here. And then we have the tack. I'm a sucker for the stock tack on these 600s. So watching the needle go all the way around when you're revving it out, it's just part of the feeling you want to get on a bike like this. As far as everything else on the dash, it's a pretty standard dash, nothing special here. We do have a really nice gas gauge on the left side, which is kind of surprising. I really appreciate Honda putting that on there. And then we've got that small screen on the right with all the other info. I will say, the one thing I would like to have on that screen is a gear indicator. Now, we don't have that, but I mean, it's not an end of the world situation. It would just be a nice to have. Overall, though, the screen works totally adequately. It is a 2008. It was fine for that year. It's nothing, no TFT craziness, but it works. Also, one of the weird things is this windscreen might look black to you guys, but it actually has a tint of red. So if you notice, like from this angle, the brake fluid in the front actually looks kind of red, and that is because of the red of the windscreen. Kind of crazy. It tripped me out during the camera car run. I was like, wait, why is our brake reservoir fluid red? It should not be like that. And then when I was up at Mountain, I realized that the windscreen's kind of red, which was kind of hilarious. But let's check this bike out, guys. Let's do a little walk around. You guys know we do it up on these bikes, and I think the color on this bike is absolutely fire, so can't wait to do a little walk around to show you guys the bike. While I was up at Mountain, I actually had multiple people come out and like look at the bike, and I think it's just because of the really unique color that it has. It draws the eye a lot, so it's really cool. Let's walk around this thing. All right, guys. Our 2008 Honda CBR 600RR from WBRGarage.com. As you guys can see, we've actually upgraded the brake rotors. We got some Brimbos down there. We got steel braided brake lines. Obviously, braking is a big deal when you're, at a track day, so we want to make sure that's set up. I think this bike looks dope. We got the Yoshi exhaust coming out the back. We've got the blacked out TST Industries integrated tail light. You guys can let us know if you like it in the comments or not, but I think it's fire. There's not a lot of motorcycles, or there's not a lot of people that are building motorcycles that will tear it all the way down to get the powder coated frame and swing arm. So I feel like little accents like that really make the bike stand out, and I think that's what's grabbing everybody's eye when they're coming out and looking at the bike. We did talk about the Rizomas up front. Obviously, we got Rizomas here in the rear as well. That heat shield, this black one here, if you guys watched the season, we actually got that. That was a used one, and we painted it black. We just used grill paint, and I'm so glad we did. It just blends in really well. I really do love the way the bike turned out. We got the custom powder-coated wheels. It's a look, and like I said in the beginning of the video, this year model CBR always will have a special place in my heart. It was basically my first dream bike layout. I love that the exhaust comes out the back. You don't see many motorcycles doing that even to this day, and it's just a super unique build. I'm so glad that we got to do this. Here are the rear sets that we were talking about. Got the Vortex rear sets. As you guys can see, the customizability you have with this is crazy. So whoever wins this motorcycle, if they don't like the position of the rear sets, I mean, look, you got like 100 different options. You can move it around. That way you can really customize the bike to be, you can customize your legs to be wherever you want them to. They are also, because of this kind of material on the peg, they are grippy as hell. I was trying to move my foot around, and your foot's almost stuck where it is, which is great. You got so much control over the bike when you have a stuck-in a peg like that. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm not going to go over everything we did on this bike. If you guys want to watch the playlist, you totally can. I highly recommend it. We put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and I think it looks awesome. I think that's it, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some photos on my phone. I forgot to install the quad lock, but shout out to Quad Lock for sponsoring the First Try Show. They are the best. If you need a phone holder for a motorcycle, don't waste your time. Get a quad lock. They are the way to go. But I'm going to take some photos on my phone for our Instagram and TikTok stuff. If you guys want to check us out, we are at C2Pics over on Instagram. And then we are at Chaseontwowheels over on TikTok. If you guys want to check it out with the vertical content that we're making, go over there, and we'll see you there. Be right back. I'm going to take some photos. Man, this thing stands out. Like, look at this shot. The colors are so unnatural. It just stands out so much. And alright guys, to finish up this video, we got a steering stem lock test, which this bike is going to do a terrible job at. And then we got to talk about who this bike is for, because we did build it for a very, very specific person. Alright guys, shocker alert, spoiler alert, this is not going to be good. Alright, steering stem is locked. This is gonna be like a bottom. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Bottom row. Steering stem lock test, not the best on the CBR 600. So guys, for this motorcycle, the intended person that I hope whoever wins it is going to use it for this user case, but I would love for this bike to live at the track. I'm hoping that the person that wins it maybe has already a motorcycle and they're interested in doing track days, and now they have a motorcycle that they can just go take to the track. I think this bike will do a phenomenal job. You know, like, that's the person I had in mind when I was building this motorcycle. I wanted it to be easily trackable. Take the mirror off, tape up the lights, go to the track. That's literally all you got to do. Even when you're at the track, you've got adjustable rear sets so you can get the bike in your body position just right. We've got levers that are adjustable to customize it to however you want to ride. We've got bendable levers, so that's not a problem. Another reason I love this motorcycle for a track bike is the exhaust comes directly out of the rear of the bike. If something were to happen and you low-sided the motorcycle, your exhaust is coming out the rear of the bike, so the chances of it getting damaged is lessened as compared to a motorcycle that's got the exhaust coming out the side. You know, if you low side on the side of the bike that the exhaust is on, I mean, unless you're okay with your exhaust having giant scratches and damage, your exhaust is probably going to be toasty toast. So I think that's one of the things that makes this bike phenomenal for a track day bike. We also have that harder seat that I think does a phenomenal job of giving the rider maneuverability, so you can lean off the bike and get leaned off, you know, do all your knee dragging goodness through turns. And one of the cool things is the CBR 600RR is already stock, an amazing track day bike. So we really didn't have to do a lot to this thing to really make it the best it could possibly be for that user case. And also, I think it looks dope. Obviously, you know, looks are a personal opinion thing, but I think if you're taking this to a track day, you're not going to blend into all the other people at the track. Like, this is not a color a lot of companies use, so I think you are going to look cool going, just hauling ass through a track. And I love it. I hope the person that wins it uses it to its full potential, and I can't wait to see who wins it and get it delivered. And guys, before we get out of here, I do want to mention we are still going to give this bike away to a member over at WBRGarage.com. That'll be at the top link in the description. If you guys want a chance to win this thing, that's how to do it. Go over there, sign up, and we might be showing up at your house delivering you a brand new track bike. So I mean, it's streetable. Obviously, we're here on the street, so if you don't want to take it to the track, you don't have to, but make sure to go sign up if you want a chance to win it. If you have a buddy who wants a track bike, this might be the cheapest bike you could get to take to a track. But guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You guys ride safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you so much for getting to the end of the video. If you did, make sure to put OC in your comment down below and hit that like button. And outro crew, let me know, if you won this motorcycle, would you use it as a track bike, or would you ride this thing on the street? Let us know in the comments down below. We love you guys a little bit longer for getting to the end of the video. It does not have a quick shifter, by the way. I'm just clutchless shifting. And I will see you guys on the next one. Later.